Shalom to the whole elect of Israel. Let us give all praise, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rachah HaKodash. Double honor to our elders and apostles, great millstone. Again, peace and salutations to the whole elect of Israel, whoever you may be. The household of faith. I was having a conversation this morning with my significant other, as they might want to put it. And you just got to be, if you understand this truth, it gives us peace that passes understanding. Peace that passes understanding why we here, why we go through the hell that we go through. Anything that you're going through in your personal life, anything. If you're a so-called Negro, Latino, Native American Indian, West Indian, Haitian, or any of the speckled bird, if your bloodline go back to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and you're going through hard times, through hell, no matter what you try to do, you could just look up Deuteronomy 28 and go down the line, starting at verse 15, and go down the line, and there you're going to find a reason to why you're going through what you're going through, why you're facing what you're facing, why you feel the way you feel. And this knowledge, this wisdom, this understanding is what brings us that peace, that passive understanding. The understanding of the world, man. The knowledge of the world is foolishness to Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. When the Lord has opened your eyes, He's released the veil off your eyes to get you to see what's really going on and not what your enemies taught, what our enemies taught us. You should be more at peace with what's going on. You have a better understanding, right? I want to get this, and I'm going to start in verse, on Psalm chapter 34, verse 1. It says, I will bless the Lord Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, at all times. His praise shall continually be in my mouth. All right, and this truth does that. This truth helps us praise Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai at all times. We're no longer deceived. We're no longer blind. We're no longer groping at noonday, wondering what it is going on. Romans chapter 11, verse 7, doesn't really pertain to us. Okay? Or the top part of it doesn't pertain to us. We're more, toward the end of it, it said, but the election have obtained it. Okay? And that's Lord willing, Adonai Ratazah, we be a part of that number. But the election have obtained it. The counsel of the Lord. I'll say that. The counsel of the Lord. And it starts starting with our elders and apostles. And the men that speak the same like-minded doctrine on down. He say, verse 2, my soul shall make her boast in the Lord. The humble shall hear thereof and be glad. Okay? The humble shall hear. What? Who else? That's why a lot of these people really can't get into it. As it's written, wisdom will not enter into a malicious soul. You got to be humbled. You got to be humble. You got to understand that we messed up. But not only that, the Lord gave us the opportunity to just see this world for what it is. Or what it can be, I'll say. To see this world for what it can be. Because what it's going to be, is what we're looking forward to. Based on the promises that He has given to our forefathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Which are promises of good things. Of course, because we've been beaten down so much, the little stuff that we get here, we think is something. The things that we get here, we can't even consider these things to be good things, because it's always, because of the Esau Edomite is in rulership, it's always something that's not necessarily. Ooh, that was a big ass truck. Yeah, you ain't gonna get past that one. He can't see you. Anyway, the things that we get here, man, ain't none of this shit good. But the Lord got it for his starting with His elect, for His people, period. But starting with His elect, He got an arrangement set up for you. the children of Israel, and that's why it's so, I won't say difficult or heartbreaking or no shit like that, is understanding now that we know the truth. But it's might I say, disgraceful that our people are bucking up against this truth. That our people, no matter all the trials and tribulations that we've been through, the Lord has shown us who we are, who our enemies are, who the other nations are, and you know now why these other nations treat you the way they treat you. Why these people look at you like something's wrong with you. Why these people have something, a negative look at you. The curses told us we're gonna be proverbs and bywords amongst the nations. That's in Deuteronomy, man. Everything we going through is right there. Everything that you have a reason to buck up and get pissed off and crash out about, you don't got to crash out about it no more, man. This is why. And that's why we boasting in Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai, right? Matter of fact, I got one more. It says, verse 3, "Oh, magnify the Lord with me, and let us exalt his name together." All right? And that's what we're doing. When we call upon Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai, we're exalting his name together. Yahweh, meaning he is, that's the Heavenly Father's name. Wah means and. Yahweh Shai means he is the deliverer, or he's the savior of Israel. His sacrifice was to cover the sins of Israel. Yashur Allah. You so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native American Indians, West Indians, Haitians, and the rest of the speckled bird. Those that's enduring the sufferings. Those that's enduring these curses. The curses is just an identifier. All right? But we're getting closer and closer to that time where the Lord is not going to keep these curses on us. He's going to transfer them just like he's going to transfer the kingdom. Because of these people's wickedness. Because of unrighteous dealings, the kingdom is translated from one to another. Roughly paraphrasing. Let me get this though. Let me go here to 1 Corinthians. 2 Corinthians. Because, we're not making this thing about us. 2 Corinthians chapter 10 and verse 12, and it states, "For we dare not to make ourselves of the number, or compare ourselves with some that commended themselves, but they measuring themselves by themselves and comparing themselves among themselves are not wise." Okay? Because, you wonder why people fall out of the truth. Because they make themselves to be higher than what they are. And we have perfect examples of how to just be humble, man. Be humble. Be a good brother. Be a good sister. A lot of people are being, what they call it, high rollers. What they call it? I forget. The thing, it's this phrase in the world where they call it holy rollers. Yeah, like holy rollers. Like, you think you got it all. No, man. A lot of us need to humble ourselves down, calm ourselves down. And I'm not talking about Akim or Aquaf that's on fire. I'm not talking about y'all. I'm talking about those that just think that they're, that they got this, that they, got this understanding, and, like they're like it says, okay, it says again, I'll say it again, say, "For we dare not make ourselves of the number, or compare ourselves with some that commend themselves." Yeah, they commend themselves, right? But they measuring themselves by themselves and comparing themselves among themselves are not wise. Because we're trying to reach the measurement through the spirit and power of Yahweh Hashem Shai. We're trying to reach the measurement of Yahweh Shai. You know how much he did? You know how much he had to go through, how much he had to endure, how much he still had to show love, even to those that hated him. Damn it, he fixed the nigga ear that Peter had chopped the fuck off. He fixed the nigga ear. That was compassion. when he was on the cross, he said, Lord, forgive them, for they know not what they do. The weapons of our warfare are not carnal. At the end, we still have to be compassionate. That don't mean we got to sit up here and accept. I don't want y'all to get me twisted at all. Believe me, I'm the first one to be like, I don't want to be around these motherfuckers, because what they do pisses me off so much that, I could lose it. We could snap. We could crash out. But because of this truth, we have a better way of handling things. Like I was just watching a video that the brother Damawathi from the GMS Orlando camp did, talking about how we, how did he word it? He say, Salakia, man, it was probably about 3 days I watched it. It just entered my mind right now. About pretty much like humbling ourselves. He was watching an elder, and taking ourselves like out of the world, how humble ourselves, or how when we be humble, how we put off things of the world, we could focus more on our health, on habits that's beneficial or that's good for us. I think he said he was taking up something like being a gardener, right? Or what you would call a husbandman, right? Because that's what a husbandman is. A husbandman is one that takes care of, the things that he's planted, like a field, and that's, that's in comparison to like a shepherd, taking care of his sheep, his flock. All right? You're taking care of the seeds. You're learning how to be patient, be wise, and considering how you treat the seeds that you planted and things of that nature. And I could see the healing in that process, and diving into something like that. Because nature, man, that's one thing about us. You have when you come to this truth, you have a more profound love for natural things, for the nature that Yahweh Shema Shah has created, the natural things that the Lord has created. Because inside that you have spiritual lessons. Let me see. Damn, I almost at my destination. They say 2 Corinthians chapter 10 and verse 13 says, but we will not boast of things without our measure, but according to the measure of the road which the Most High have distributed to us, a measure to reach even unto you. All right? So we boast in Yahweh Shema Shah all the day long, because of the measurement that he gave us. Now, you might just be a babe, as a lot of us are. I've just been doing this thing for about three years. Okay, about 3 years, as far as like going on the highways and hedges. Come on, man. Come on, asshole. Golly. You don't see no car coming. You see them turning that way. Fuck you, Slakia. All right? We all have a measurement to fulfill. So to a lot of you Akim out there, I understand the thought of beating yourself over the head, but don't get into the habit of doing it to the point where you start doubting your measurement. Get back on the bike. When you start learning how to ride the bike, you didn't get it all. You didn't understand, how to keep your balance at first. But you fell off that bike, and what you did, your father, your brother, whoever was there with you that saw you fall off the bike, come on, get back up on the bike. 1 foot, 1 pedal at a time. 1 pedal, right pedal, left pedal, right pedal, left pedal. Keep the handlebar steady. Don't defeat yourself. Don't defeat yourself, because we always got people that's, The devil, the devil crouched up as a lion, seeking who he shall devour, roughly paraphrasing. And that's his job, man, to take this truth from you, man. But continue to boast in the Lord, and the measurement that he given you. It say, verse 14, for we stretch not ourselves beyond our measure, as though we reached not unto you. For we are come as far as to you also in preaching the gospel of Yahushua HaMashiach. Because that's why we're doing this. We're doing this through the power, through the grace of the Heavenly Father, through his only begotten Son, Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. That's how these things are being accomplished. Hold on. They say I got 24 miles, 32 on the tire, so I'll be good until I get out of the plantation. I ain't gonna make that stop right now. I got 23 miles, so I could do that when I get out of the plantation, Lord willing. It say, verse 15, not boasting of things without our measure, that is of other men's labors, but having hope, when your faith is increased, that we shall be enlarged by you, according to our rule abundantly, to preach the gospel in the regions beyond you, and not to boast in another man's line of things made ready to our hand. But he that glorieth, let him glory in the Lord. All right. So when we do these things, keep the first thing, which is Yahweh Shah, Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shah. Like me and the brother, he don't have a Hebrew name yet, but the brother, the Ephraimite that come out with me, and do lessons during the week, Baba Kashah, Tawadi Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shah, the other day he made a statement about he's just a babe. Yeah, bro. That's how the Lord wants to come up into this thing. We didn't learn the truth, overnight. Our elders and apostles, they were diligently going to the libraries, seeking this, searching this out, seeking this out, searching this out, inquiring about this, inquiring about that. It's not something that we are just going to do, or it's nothing that we are just going to pop up and be perfect at. It's going to take some time. That's why you got to be patient with this thing. It's going to take some time. But we're enduring the fact that we know that we're under the curses. Our head, our minds. We're not perfect yet. But that's what we're seeking for, man. We're seeking to find that measurement of perfection. All right. I want to go here to Hosea, chapter 6, verse 1. And it states, come and let us return unto the Lord, Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shah. For he hath torn, and he will heal us. He hath smitten, and he will bind us up. All right? And that's what he's doing. See, we're putting our faith in Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shah's hand again as babes, as children, yo. When you was a child, like the brothers like to bring up the cat, when you was a child, you didn't ask yourself how you was going to eat that day. You didn't ask your mom and them what they was going to eat. If anything, you probably said, what are we going to eat? Right? As a child, you just go out there and you just do what was needed to, you do what you do. All right? You do what you do. Innocent in the heart, innocent in the mind. You're not trying to harm nothing. You don't want to be harmed. You just enjoying life. And as adults, yeah, we know we're not kids anymore. When we were children, we thought as children, but now that we're adults, we think of ourselves as adults. You all right? We think of ourselves, in a manly manner, in a womanly manner. We got responsibilities. So you got to take care of your responsibilities. All right? But at the same time, we can have that pure mindset as a child coming into this truth, man, don't beat yourself up too much. Boast in Yahweh Shem Yahushua. Find the joy in Yahweh Shem Yahushua. You know, and there's plenty of things to find the joy in Yahweh Shem Yahushua. For one, like that, again, in Hosea 6, again it says, verse 1, come and let's return unto the Lord, for he hath torn, and he will heal us. The Lord put the curses on us, but, you know, starting with the elect of Israel, the Lord going to heal us. That's why he say, you have to be converted. Lest you convert. Let me see if I can find that right quick since I'm parked. Convert and be healed. Convert and be healed. Yep. I think I'm gonna get that Isaiah. Yeah, Isaiah chapter 6, verse 10. It says, make the heart of this people fat, and make their ears heavy, and shut their eyes lest they see with their eyes, and hear with their ears, and understand with their heart. I mean, you have to understand this truth, which a lot of our people are bucking up against it, but the Lord don't want them. Going back to Romans chapter 11, verse 8. The Lord has blinded their eyes so they can't see. The Lord don't want them. But here the Lord give you the truth. Your measurement. Don't sleep on it. If anything, to the best of your ability, perfect your craft. That's what we're doing. To the best of our ability, we're perfecting our craft. Thought we were about to close out, but I'm probably gonna have to close out because I bet you the time about to run out. Again, Isaiah 6 and 10, it says, make the heart of this people fat, and make their ears heavy, and shut their eyes lest they see with their eyes, and hear with their ears, and understand with their heart, and convert and be healed. Yeah, you got to convert and be healed. You got to change. You can't be the same person. You can't bring that worldly person into this blessing the Lord has given us. He tore us up to learn our lesson. Like a good father that loved his children, he whooped that ass to get us on the right path. And now we know why. Okay, it says, he have torn, and he will heal us. He has smitten, and he will bind us up. Okay, he's smitten us, but he's doing it right now. The Lord is doing it right now. He's gathering us together right now. He's I gotta get this. Verse 3, it says, then shall we know if we follow on to know the Lord, right? And that starts with knowing his name. You gotta search and realize, what's the name of the Heavenly Father and his only begotten Son. And you gotta be convinced in your own heart. You gotta be convinced in your own mind. All right. Again, it says, then shall we know if we follow on to know the Lord. His going forth is prepared as the morning, and he shall come unto us as the rain, as the latter and former rain unto the earth. All right, and what that mean? Before and after, we're gonna that's being replenished with this truth, being replenished in the earth. The Lord's word, being like the dew, covering the whole earth again. You know how the Lord set it up from the beginning. That's what we about to get back to doing. It's about to be perfected. All right. Before Adam and Eve, messed up. Before they brought sin into the world, we're about to go back into that, at least the world of Israel, right? Our kingdom, Lord willing, we be a part of those individuals that make it in the first round to see all these things come to pass. So you can't beat yourself up too much. The Lord did all this for his glory. For his glory. Let's get that. Luke chapter 1, verse 70, it says, as he spoke by the mouth of his holy prophets, which have been since the world began, that we should be saved from our enemies and from the hand of all that hate us, to perform the mercy promised to our fathers, and to remember his holy covenant, the oath which he swore to our father Abraham, that he would grant unto us, that we, being delivered out of the hand of our enemies, might serve him without fear. in holiness and righteousness before him all the days of our life. And that's going to be an eternal thing. Eternally, for eternally, we're going to serve the Lord rightfully, holy, in all righteousness once we get those new bodies, man. That's the covenant. That's the new covenant the Lord going to come and give, his starting with his elect, but to give his people all in all. The 2/3 got to come back by through the seed of the elect, but they're gonna get it too. They're gonna have to learn by death, by pain, because they keep bucking up against the truth, or simply because the Lord just didn't open their eyes. He tried. You can't say the Lord is not just. I'm sure the Lord tried, but it's just that because of the people because their conscience is seared with a hot iron, they can't receive this truth. They can't receive this understanding. And like I said before, it's kind of sad or disturbing or whatever you want to call it. But at the end of the day, you can't call it none of that. You can just say it's the Lord's will. All right. One more precept. That Deuteronomy 30. Deuteronomy 30:7. And the Lord thy power will put all these curses upon thine enemies and on them that hate thee, which persecuteth thee. So that's the Lord's justice. That's the Lord showing justice. That's the Lord showing us that, no, I'm not mad at y'all forever. What's that? Jeremiah 30:10. But y'all not gonna go unpunished. I'm gonna save you. I got y'all back as a people, but y'all not gonna get away like all unpunished. I'm still gonna make some examples of y'all, because these people, they've been hard-headed from the beginning, and that's how they're gonna have to learn. That's all I want to say pretty much. I just want to get that out. Akim, Aqua, just do your best to seek that measurement, man. Whatever this Lord put in your spirit to do, to accomplish, man, just keep on doing it, and get better. Just get better at it. Keep adding to it. Every day, that's the thing about our beloved elders and apostles. They always encourage us, our spiritual fathers and uncles and our spiritual big brothers, they always encourage us to just get better. The heads of the camps, of GMS, they just encourage us to keep on doing better, man. And don't get taken out of the game. Don't get taken out of the game to the best of your ability. Of course, we know we don't have no say so. We put it all in the Lord's hands. Honestly, but the Lord knows our hearts. He tries our ranks. He knows our hearts. He knows what's on our mind, and He knows what He put inside of us to want. So long as you doing what pleases the Lord, you shouldn't be too much worried. As we just read, the day is gonna come where we're gonna serve the Lord without worrying about anything, man. All right, with that, I'm gonna close out. Hoping this lesson is edifying to the hopeful elect. Endure, Yahweh, Yahweh Shabbat Azar. Endure till next time. Ahabatham, Ahabatham to the hopeful elect, to the elect of Israel. Okay. Till next time, Kwame Yasharala, Wa Abba Baba.